Something extraordinary is about to unfold. Over the next several weeks, Dr. Paul Drouin will unveil a powerful new series of music videos, a stunning visual journey through his life, his calling, and his groundbreaking career. Created in conjunction with his highly anticipated new book, The Medicine of Consciousness, a doctor's journey beyond conventional medicine, set to be released later this year, this series brings his story to life like never before. Using the latest advancements in AI-driven music and cinematic video creation, each release blends innovation with inspiration, transforming decades of experience in holistic health, alternative medicine, and the founding of Quantum University and Project Newosphere into an immersive audio-visual experience. This is more than a series of videos. It's the story of a doctor who stepped beyond convention, who explored the frontiers of consciousness, and who helped pioneer a new vision of medicine for the world. New videos will premiere each week. Be among the first to witness this extraordinary journey. Subscribe to the Quantum University YouTube channel and experience every powerful release as it unfolds. The journey begins now.
Welcome everybody to this journey, Medicine of Consciousness. I'll just give you a short intro and then we will have a question period after. And this second book, is about, how merge the project of Quantum University that is reflecting a new curriculum, based on quantum physics and consciousness. At the end of the day, there is a core concept called the biofield, but this didn't evolve right away from the start. And sharing this journey from within, what's happened, what are the events, what are the within experience that has revealed all this university project and noosphere. This is what I will share with you. And then I'm sharing also to this video medium, image and picture that are original. And along my journey, you will see, there is an evolution. Of course, you start the beginning of this journey more with a trauma, and I will have the opportunity to talk about it. And it's about also the journey of many of our students. They have been someone sick in their family or themselves, and it's not unique. And then you may recognize yourself, in the discovery of this field of consciousness. So the class now, and we'll have a question after that, is about the field of consciousness itself. The two previous one we have seen, the broken-hearted, the medicine of silence. I would say other few words about it. So let's start with this video, and hopefully we share a question after that. Thank you to be here with us to this journey within.
Out on the plains of silence, beneath the sky so wide, I chased the wind of knowing till the knowing passed me by. They said the truth was written in neuron cells and clay, but I found a deeper language where the words all fade away. And there's a hum beneath creation, a song that never dies. It ain't in books or data, it's the light behind your eyes. This mind can talk forever, but the heart just knows inside. The river I was searching for was the field I ride. No name, no edge, no ending, it flows through all I see. Consciousness ain't somewhere else, it's what's breathing me. They call it Chayomana, Atman or the flame. Science calls it quantum, but the mystery stays the same. You can measure every heartbeat, count each breath inside, but you'll miss the holy moment when the stillness opens wide. You can map the stars and atoms, write your theories bold and long, yet the truth is in the silence where the soul begins its song. This mind can draw the borders, but the spirit won't divide. The river I was searching for was the field I ride. It's the space between the heartbeats, the calm in every storm. The healer and the patient are one in human form. I lost my brother early, thought medicine would mend, but sorrow was the teacher and silence was the friend. I sat down in the darkness, the pain became a guide, and there I met the doctor who was living deep inside. No needle, no machine can wake what love can feel. It's the faith that moves the mountains, it's the wound that starts to heal. When hearts beat in coherence, like horses side by side, the field begins to shimmer and the world is unified. Now I see the same horizon in every stranger's face, each soul a spark of starlight, each life a gift of grace. From prayer to meditation, from science back to song, we're learning what was ancient, been within us all along. Close your eyes and listen, past thought beyond the tide. You'll hear that endless ocean, the field you ride inside. You can call it God or physics, the name don't matter none. It's the silence and the laughter, it's the moon and rising sun. When you rest beyond the thinking, the world is pure and wide. Consciousness ain't out there, friend, it's the field we ride.
Pretty soon will come the book, and then this book is kind of illustrated by this lyric and song and video. They will all be accessible on the Noosphere we are building together. And then if you had any problem technical, you can review also this recording. And I recommend you see them a few times because, you know, this is the journey, my intimate journey, how the university was created. So before you come and manifest the university and how you manifest the Project Noosphere, there is all the time an underlying inner experiments. And this is what I share with you. So the second bit will be very intimate. When you look at this video, they are designed with a picture of me all along this year, so you can see an evolution. And a few weeks ago, you were saying the medicine of silence, broken-hearted. And why I have illustrated this? Because, you know, it's a common ground. Many students, many of our students, they come from a journey. Either they have been sick or they have been someone sick in their family. They didn't find the answer in the conventional medicine and they were looking for more. And this is what they brought them to Quantum University. And it's also my experience, you know, why I create the university, why I manifest the university. It comes from this trauma. Of course, my brother died, when I was in my 18, the time when you have to make your choice for, about what you will do in life. And my choice to go in medicine was, of course, a quest to find a solution, an answer to this problem of suffering. And then you have seen that, pretty soon I went through this when I was in medicine, start to do meditation because we speak about consciousness. Consciousness is not just a concept, theoretical concept. It's also, an experience. And I speak about this all the time. So, and this is why I suggest many of our students, hey, find a method, find a technique, find something that you learn how to transcend and touch this field of infinite possibility. So, and consciousness has been translated also to quantum physics, and because that was the only science that can understand how work energy, subtle energy, and it was for me one of my mission to lay out the university with a curriculum that can grasp this subtlety of consciousness. So, of course, you have to understand that through all these years, now we're talking about more than 22 years, I went through some enlightening experiment, going at the beginning in Switzerland with this group of doctors that was already working on consciousness. And this is because what if I am talking about the concept, it's not only theoretical, but it's also experiential. And it has been able to me to help to define this new curriculum. And because coming from a conventional medicine point of view, medicine could not grasp, the idea of subtle energy and consciousness because linear. So going to this curriculum where the foundation are more quantum physics, and then of course we have had along the time, master and teacher renowned that already was working from these ideas. I was surprised when I came in Hawaii to realize I'm not the only one. And all over the world, already people were interested in this holistic medicine, this new vision of holistic medicine. And this is how, along these 22 years, university, Quantum University has grown in more than 110 countries, with all these thousands of students sharing this concept. And then not you will see through this journey, I have a chapter where I explain, the one who heals is the one is right. And Materia Mater University has also to express healing. So we have also be witnessing many of our students going through this journey and at the same way solve their physical issue. So there is just more than the physical, and this is very important. We're not denying medicine conventional, but we're adding another dimension. So where we can solve the problem underlying psychosomatic or problem that has been generate these situations. So I'm happy to share this intimacy with you, with this picture. And of course, we have AI now that help us to generate this video. I hope you enjoyed them. So the book will be expressing a chapter more the foundation, and then as it goes, you will see the video and the lyric, and create a library. You will have access this to the Noosphere. Myself, I listened this many times because they inspire me. I hope you will find also an inspiration to understand more the concept that we are teaching in Quantum University, because we are teaching about consciousness, but it's not theoretical, it's experiential. And expressing this with this new medium, this will reveal, the depth of this and new self. You have your own journey. We come from all different route and quest and searching for how you can solve is there a physical issue or personal issue. So it's exciting for me. We have a question. Dr. Tara will also animate this question. Is there anything you want to add at this time, Dr. Tara?
course. Thank you, Dr. Paul, and congratulations on your second book. And it's very like it's really we love how you highlighted the deeper purpose behind the book and the journey it represents. Your first book was more about the foundation of integrative medicine, but this one is a much deeper connection, especially with our students, that everybody is in their own journey, healing journey, and they really can connect with you. And one unique aspect of this project is the addition of videos alongside the book. And my question is, what inspired you to expand the experience through this visuals and this multimedia approach and music?
So, of course, everybody discovered this new medium of AI. And then when I saw that was possible to express something that is more connected, what I have experienced, I was very excited about it. Because you can write a chapter about your journey, the history of your brother, but now you come with the personal picture of this event. It's not create a personal movie, but it's almost, and I think it will help to understand more these ideas. So like the last one now, it's like we talk about consciousness like a field, you know, uh, grasping our mind at the beginning, a student, not necessarily that is concrete, but most of them, what I recommend is like, hey, this learning process has two legs. One is more theoretical, it addresses your left brain, and the other one is more intuitive. And as you grow, you build these concepts more real. For someone, is meditation, as I show it in some of this video. I'm a fan of using crystal to open this panel. I also integrate other technique of meditation. For others, it's different, but perhaps at least a medium where you learn how to transcend, because consciousness is not something theoretical. Again, this is something that you experience through spirituality, through art, through so many mediums. So it's not that be exclusive. Of course, I share with you my experience along the way, because I have like almost 50 years of meditation. Went in Switzerland, and I saw this. You saw this in the first movie. That was a call there, because there was a school at that time. You have Maharishi Mahesh Yogi was putting a course of consciousness, and he was inviting doctors from all over the world. And we were already starting to experience, these state, but also doing research with EEG to see, how the brain translate this altered state of consciousness. And that was very exciting for a year, going a little bit deeper in this experience. And this has been also had an impact to all the years to come, to manifest the what is quantum university. And many times we talk about synchronicity. It's like, and Dr. Dispenza talk about this. It's like you meditate, you let go yourself, and then later on, in life, this event appear, and this person come along, and this event come along, and this is, from Canada, I moved to California, and Florida first, California, and then this brought me in Hawaii. This is like a sequence of synchronicity, but all this in some way, the link of all this is every day going in that space, this field, and deepening your inner experience.
That's beautiful. I think the combination of a storytelling, visuals, and emotion really creates a very immersive and meaningful experience for the audience. So I have a question here from what do you think mainstream science still gets wrong about consciousness? That's
You
what
know, you have to understand conventional medicine based more on the old physic model of Newton. And I'm not the only one to talk about this. Even Dr. Lipton, in his model of biology and epigenetic, you know, in some way, I wouldn't say transgress, but go beyond what is the conventional medicine. So, in other words, if and me, I have the two perspective in some way. Of course, I have been trained as a medical doctor, and you will see in this video a picture when I was, you know, in hospital. So I really walk in this area. So I know what I'm talking about. There is this physical perspective related to, you know, Newton physics and biology, linear. So that give you some kind of a perspective on the physical aspect of the individual. But still, they cannot grasp, this model cannot grasp, you know, what is about subtle energy and all these healing model that come from Eastern culture, like acupuncture and Taoist medicine and others. So in other words, it's like you speak two language, but you don't have the scientific background to understand what it is. And of course, it's evolving. Now there is an opening to holistic medicine, as you know, but this is where we come in with Quantum University, where we lay out a curriculum, you know, complex curriculum, where we tie all these fields together to this model of consciousness. So when we speak about consciousness, we relate about on quantum physics, and you have master in this field, you know, someone that's redefined biology and genetic like Dr. Lipton. Dr. Goswami was very critical at the beginning because you have to lay out, you know, this model on theoretical foundation, and his idea of consciousness is the ground of everything was crucial. And he's part of this curriculum. And others like Dr. Dispenza is also wrote many books that explain, you know, how you change your behavior and your habits, you know, based on meditation. And this is a very important chapter in medicine because change habit is so difficult. So you have to come with this new approach of transcendence, access this field of consciousness to change your reality. And maybe I forgot the doctor, not doctor, but Lee Metigart, you know, redefined the power of intention. In quantum physics, Nassim Haramein is also important. He provided us the unified field of theory. So in other words, you know, there is a world between what is modern medicine now, conventional medicine, based still on a model of science that is outdated. So, and that was the work of 20 years to define a curriculum that extend this perspective, you know, that you can integrate both at the same time. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you, Dr. Paul. Another question is, when will the book officially be available and where can everyone purchase or access it?
Okay, so the book, you have to understand it's a work of a year to blend all this together, the video format, and the book format. So the book is on the publisher now, you know, this week, and probably come out in 2, 3 months. And of course, you will be informed when it is come. The book will be published. The video, the specific visual will be accessible on the Noosphere through a barcode. So in other words, it's like it's kind of a new concept of reading because I didn't want to write another book and theoretically like the first one was important to lay out the foundation of this quantum medicine, but go a little bit deeper and connect also with everybody around, you know, what people are the suffering and looking for answer or students that have some hard time to understand some concept. So it's a project that took a year. The book should be out hopefully in the 2 or 3 months. And this last master class that we will doing every 2 weeks now will deliver a chapter every time. So we have like 21 chapter, you see, there is a lot to coming. We're just at the beginning now of this, what was the sparkle of quantum university, a life trauma of my losing my brother, and I'm not the only one. It's not like unique, and I hope the student will see their own history through this, So it's a journey. So we will, as it goes, have the master class. The book may probably be published in 3 months, and hope you will enjoy it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Paul, for sharing the inspiration behind your new book and giving us a deeper look into the vision behind this exciting book. And we are very excited for everyone to experience it.
So, do we have other question from our student or people participating?
No, no.
What
Well,
about you? What about you, Dr. Tara?
it's just I think you answered all the questions I had, but it's just we are very excited, Dr. Paul. It's really exciting to have this book, and every chapter is something new that I'm sure everybody can relate with that. And everybody's in their own journey, in their own personal and professional journey that can relate with everything that started, how this university started, and how we got here. So, thank you for sharing this experience with us.
So, and I call that Master Class in Consciousness. Medicine of Consciousness will be the title of the book, and I want it very practical. In other words, it's like everybody is a subject that is very familiar today. Everybody come from different direction, but grasping what is consciousness without an inner experience, it's something different if then you have been to this enlightening event all your life. And to come, you will see everything, my journey, my encounter with Dr. Goswami, and when I went also in Egypt, in India, and all this, quantum university has evolved through, so many concepts and so many, but behind that, there is all the time, an experience that I never reveal or very little share. And hopefully, I hope the door so for others to reveal their inner experience most of the time that come with, pursuing this journey with Quantum University. And I'm very amazed now with the student that came from all over the world. And if you go online, we have testimony of them. And I can see like a pattern, again, a pattern of someone who search, someone who has pain or a health problem, or in the family trying to help a child. And we will have also a chapter where we show all these, I always say, but miracle is, is a way to talk, but this spontaneous healing. And it's not something irreal, it's something true. And hopefully we make more tangible, this idea of consciousness, because you can speak about consciousness, you can be about it, but without an experience of it, without little by little learning how to transcend, access this infinite field, you still caught in this linear perspective of the world. And this is a bit where we are today when you have this different opinion, different duality, different, someone stand with this perspective and the other one on the other side, but it's more like a rational, it's more from the intellectual point of view. But then today it's more and more important to go and transcend, go beyond this. It's time to understand the world, with a deeper perspective and compassion. And this is what we will talk along this book. And I think it's a message that is very important. And hopefully you're curious. You're curious of where I went through all the experience that were very enlightening and give me also an inspiration either to create the noosphere or the quantum university or brought me to this this teacher and here and there. So it's called synchronicity. Dr. Dispenza speak a lot about it. It's like, hey, you go deeper, and him he talk about the blessing of the center. This is another way to transcend, to assess this level of understanding, and then you let it go. You let it go, and then you see your life guiding you here and there, and that was my case. From Canada, I had this practice that put me on the ground with an experience with client and not only patient. They were coming from everywhere because I was looking at them from this holistic point of view and the medical point of view. And then later on, it's like, hey, you have to explain. You have to explain to medicine, to conventional medicine, your pair, what you're doing because it's not necessarily conventional. And one of the main arguments that will come along is all the time, hey, what you're doing is not scientific, it's not teach in university, it's not in the book. And then sooner or later I realize, hey, it's not because, I went medicine and I have a lot of respect and, I'm in my heart, the medical doctor. And then, I cannot see this link that can understand this dimension of what we call consciousness, energy, Saturn energy, universe. So I saw, hey, let's lay out a curriculum that can grasp again these ideas. And then the first book was talking about it. But now it's like, hey, revealing, what are the enlightening experience where, myself, I'm awakening to this new experience. Because when I start, do you think I had all this vision? No, it's a little by little, day after day, and month after month, and meeting this resistance and other. Then you have these, flash idea. And not only that, universe will bring you the link, the connection that manifested. So you're not alone in this. In this, we are interconnected. You cannot manifest quantum university like in a bubble. No, you have to be creating this manifestation with the collegiality of other thinker that and the student all over the world that in some way has intuit this idea. And you go now today online and you can see, an emergence of all these energy medicine. But you need also to tie this to an understanding. There is not one magic thing. It's like in other words, a spectrum of technique and medicine, but at the same time connect with this underlying understanding of consciousness in the field. This is why I titled my book Medicine of Consciousness, and medicine of consciousness that is not theoretical, but has been living through this the growth of the university. 22 years, can you imagine? That was like turn here and turn there, and then at the beginning you don't exactly know how this will happen. But it's the same thing. I see this with my students. They start at some point, and then they go from a state where they maybe encounter some health problem, from a stage where they manifest their practice to clinic, writing books and different art. And so there is one similar, but there's a overall pattern, and if you listening this testimonial of students that we put online, it's kind of very impressive. They all speak about their journey, what they discover, and how they have been enlightened through these studies. And, I think it's fascinating.
Yes, it is. And always it starts with a vision. And now Quantum University is a global movement, which is incredible. We have another question from Al. What is the source of consciousness?
What is the source of consciousness? This is, if you start to do meditation, this is, I wouldn't say the goal, but in some way, it's like the return to the source, that allow you to understand, where you come from and where everything emerged. And then when you look at quantum physics, you speak about one concept, the singularity concept. And I talk about this in my book also. And this concept of singularity, is very popular because in some part AI is also talking about singularity. And they say, oh, AI, when AI reach singularity, they will in some way control everything. Why? Because when you reach the singularity point, it's like you reach a point when you have access to all information. But on the other side, you have also another singularity that is expressed through this journey that I'm talking about, through the meditation and the one that in some way, day after day, I wouldn't say dig, but go deeper in this consciousness experience. There is a point of singularity that is similar. So this singularity in some way is the source of everything. And this is where mystic and people that has meditated for many years, encounter their source, the source. So when we say the source, and someone has used the word source like God, for like a God, it's like you reach this point where you have access to who you are. This is what mystic describe, not only, but people who has evolved in this field. So but it's another word we say source for singularity, or for this god of quantum physics we were talking in the video. So, but this is where we have an edge on AI, because everybody now is look at AI and feel threatened, because it's like AI can process information in a way that is incredible. Algorithm. It's like, a few years ago, internet, and now we have this AI that can some way have a type of awareness. I'm not saying AI will not come with some kind of awareness, but this is not a transcending awareness that connect you to your source, to your origin, who you are. And life is just a journey to rediscover that. It's like, your paradise within that you really discover when you experience that source. And it's probably, I hope it's probably familiar, this language, to many people that are already meditating, people on a quest, and sometimes this enlightening moment of experiencing the source. Not necessarily they're all the time there, but here, there is an event that has triggered this enlightenment. And many times people talk about this in the book, people who has long years of, not sometimes they have meditated for years, but sometimes also they just go to a weekend and boom, they fall in that, experiencing the source of who you are. So hopefully that answer the question. If it is still theoretical to you, just grab a technique of meditation. This is why we have in the course what I call the pro-consciousness meditation. It's kind of my way to access this source. Why I use the crystal, you saw this in the video, pointing at the panel, because this panel is like a doorway within. And most of the time, this panel is dormant. Why? Because chemical toxicity, EMF environment. So in other words, you use the crystal to just like clean up this doorway within that help you to experience this source and deeper level of awareness. Hopefully I answered the question.
We have another comment from Karen Brown. So she's asking, so is this like a deeper connection with your mind and soul? Is your deeper person? That's the question?
Yeah, so I say that when you say deeper person, I hear more the ego kind. So you access this dimension that is called the self. Carl Jung speak a lot about this, the self, your inner, your brother, reality. Because when you talk about your person, it's nice, but it's more referring to your ego part of it. When you talk about the self, it's a greater dimension. And yes, what you say, is a connection with your soul. So, and then everybody may have different construct or way to translate this. But as you go within, you experience this kind of experience become more clear, more familiar, and then it becomes something where you can go every day, resource yourself, and be patient with yourself. And then I said, you don't know if this will not happen a weekend. You will see in the book I'm reading different events where I have different experience that were very enlightening, but everyone has different, it's very different. But in some way, you need to cultivate this. You need to take time to go within. You need to take time either to art or either to, it could be other technique, but me, I'm familiar to this poor consciousness meditation. And this is why we put this in the course in some way. So if somebody doesn't have already something to use, then they can experience this to what I call poor consciousness meditation using crystal because it's shortened, it's fastened the path within. You open the pineal and then you use some sound. I explain this in the poor consciousness course. And and then we had also last year with Dr. Taro experiment with group, and we were able to document it. When you have a graduation, we were having a group of people, or we took experience and we done some measurement with the GDV, other the blood microscopy that could show, this is real. That you have change in this biofield. These are indirect measurement of the field. So in other words, we're not talking about something that don't have any documentation. Dr. Dispenza also has used GDV, has used other way to, monitor this altered state of consciousness. The brain scan is another one, and then along this course, you will see, myself, I went to this type of analysis when I was meditating. So in other words, we're not talking about something that has no scientific background. And now this, in the last decade, we're laying out, experiment that demonstrate what I call this altered state of consciousness. And then at the same time, this is the evolution of the man. This is what I'm calling about. It's like, hey, now you have someone linear, look at the reality more from tangible, physical, material. But as it goes, when you open your mind to this new perspective, you create this transcendent field. And this is what, some has called the fourth state of consciousness. And this is where evolution is going now. It's going from some individual that has the capacity to transcend and keep this deeper perspective. So in other words, you're not caught in this, not only dichotomy, but polarization of idea. Because today it's like you have people on one side thinking about something in the other one, but in the middle, you have this deeper perception that can have more compassion about everybody, understand where they come from. So hopefully I answer your question.
So, if you have any questions, please ask in the chat. Maybe one last question if you have time, Dr. Paul.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, well, coming from a more conventional medicine, like first you started as a conventional medicine practitioner, and then over almost 50 years, you now have integrating consciousness and quantum approaches. Where do you see the future of healthcare heading over the next decade, considering everything going on with the AI? That's a question that everybody asks. What is the future now?
Oh, yeah, this evolved so quick now. You have to understand when I start my medical practice, I was already kind of open to this idea. And 40 years ago, a journalist came in my office and he called me a curious doctor. And there was, no way to, you were talking about yoga, did this look weird? But today you have all these idea that has evolved, more acceptable. You have even, a trend of conventional medicine interest to lifestyle, prevention, even this MAGA health thing are open more to the lifestyle. So it's incredible how the field of medicine has evolved from a strict conventional. Now they are more open to this idea of lifestyle, meditation, yoga. It's not rare that a doctor will say, hey, why you don't go to yoga session or meditation and so on. So you have to understand in 50 years, this has evolved so much. To be this curious doctor years ago, now it's like, hey, when I'm talking, it's very familiar. So yes, it's evolving. AI should be not a threat, in some way, but for some is a threat. But how can we do? You need to, in some way, if you confident in the complexity of the human brain, you should not be treated because in some way AI is just a copy of our own brain. This is just algorithm. This is just the complexity of information. But do you know that already in our brain we have quantum processor, and this is what some social has shown. In other words, it's like, hey, you dig, and then you realize, hey, the AI just trying to copy how the brain works, but because we didn't understand how much the brain works. But you need to build the confidence, to expand your own awareness, and then you're not necessarily threatened, but you can use AI as a tool. And of course, like internet a few years ago, people we use it for good and the bad. So you can see today, we cannot go aside of the internet, right? But at the same time, you have to admit some has done the good and the bad, and same thing with AI. Some will use this application to make more war. I don't want to go in all the field, but some other will go deeper, use AI to find new treatment, new understanding, and like the book I just create now with this new medium, it's like, yeah, I use AI, but I use AI to express, to make you understanding more these idea. So but if you don't evolve yourself, you don't access this state that I'm talking about, this altered state of consciousness. Oh yes, you can be threatened, but there is something that never AI will be able to duplicate: the essence of a human being, the capacity to transcend and to access altered state of consciousness. So AI, most of the time, AI will not have this. AI will have a singularity that in some way, grasp all the information and processes at a speed that even yourself cannot beat. But AI will not change the unicity of what is the human being. And this is why it's so important today to understand that, to evolve the race, to evolve the human being to this altered state of consciousness. So, and then to find your own confidence, your own identity that, will be never equal. The real compassion, real love, real entanglement with others. AI in some way can mimic a lot of this, but, not really be in the heart of the whole experience. So, and this is what I share, in the course, in my journey. And because, you have different people coming from different, and they say, oh, we are threatened by AI. But in some way you cannot stop it. But let's be able to compete, but compete on a ground that AI will never access. AI cannot never access the spiritual dimension, the connection with the universe, the entanglement with the connection with all other individual. And this is what also has given an inspiration to the noospheres. Like, hey, let's meditate together. Let's share a common healing intention. AI cannot do this. There's many things that AI cannot do, but sometimes you compare yourself. It's like having a calculator in your hands. How can you calculate as fast? Very few people. But will you put aside your calculator when you have some mathematical operation? Same thing with AI. It's very useful to process information, put thing together. And in a way you cannot stop it. But the human being, encounter also difficulty and pain and this. The capacity to transcend, to go in this altered state of consciousness I'm talking about, AI cannot never do this. Simple. It's not. It's like, and already we have a brain, and I explain this in some of my blog, the microtubule are absolutely like, microprocessor that look like, computer. And I don't know if you heard, but there is some, AI that use neuron brain to process information without using the mass of energy. It's like cool, that required to do this processor with AI. So this is fascinating, and please, I invite you in my journey to be able to differentiate this, to take advantage of it. Even at Quantum University, we have integrated AI mentor. Why not? We have personal AI, personal mentor, because it's very important to keep the human touch. But we have also access to AI mentor that at any time of the day, 7 day a week, you can access to, exchange information, deepen the understanding of the concept. We have also an engineer, AI coach, where, of course, they can help. These assistant AI can help you to identify the proper homeopathic product, help you to identify, the lifestyle, the nutrition, and so on. So no, why not? Why not? But if you have to use it, you are the master who make the choice and differentiate what is good to use from. So it's not like 100% AI coming and then you implement them. No, you need to have still in between the judgment of an human individual that is also connected to compassion and resolution. So we will all explain this in this book of consciousness, Medicine of Consciousness. And I think it's very unique. It's very unique. I don't think I didn't see this anywhere where you have this inner experience that manifests a project of education, integrating all information at this time with AI, and also, what is necessary to help coach a client properly. So many tools we have created in Quantum University that you will be, informed to a quantum evaluation. The way to look at the individual, by example, from a perspective of the field, biofield, not on the perspective of disease and diagnostic. There's so many tools that we have integrated, and of course, taking advantage of this technology. Hopefully,
Thank you so much, Dr. Paul. Thank you for sharing your insight, the inspiration, and thank you, everyone, for being here with us today. We hope this conversation and this book inspire you to think differently about health, healing, and the future of medicine. Thank you again, Dr. Paul. If you have any
Yeah,
And
so be next, we will send you another invitation. Every video will be different, little by little, bringing you to the final expression of quantum university in the noosphere. So be tuned and please, you can see this video, review because we have been some difficulty. But myself, I listen at this lyric many times, song. They inspire me. So enjoy, please. Thank you very much.
thank you very much.